The half fast marching club, half fast, half fast, half fast. Say that 10 times fast and you'll see what I'm talking about.
This week, it's new releases and a $3 million glow up at celebrity theaters. Plus, we gaze into the future with local filmmaker David Kadar at the premiere of Unit 68. And we explore classic Americana and the birthplace of jazz at the New Orleans Jazz Museum. Then we wine and dine on some of the finest organic foods in the area at Kocha, as we bring you the latest in all things entertainment.
Sit back and have a lot of fun at this movie.
Let me join you there.
This is MyScene TV. Bringing you the latest in all things entertainment in Baton Rouge and beyond. I'm Javon Hamilton, and this is MyScene TV. I don't know about you, but in the rare event that I do go to the movies, I like to go as early as possible, around 10 a.m., preferably on a Tuesday when there's hardly anyone else there. Before moving to Houston, I'd often visit Grand Cinema in Shenandoah to get my fix. You know, they reminded me of the old school theaters that I grew up on in the 90s, in the days of Good Burger and Dr. Dolittle and the Nutty Professor. Then came the glow up, and they're now celebrity theaters, touting an improved visitor experience while keeping that same old school feel. And our Mike Landry spoke with owner Shane Morrison about that in this first segment.
Welcome back, MyScene family. This is MyScene TV. I'm your host, Michael Landry, and I'm joined here today by a very special guest, Mr. Shane Morrison.
Nice to meet you, Mike.
Very nice to see you. All right, Shane here, he runs this whole operation here at Celebrity Theaters. This is a nice place, nice. Honestly, but sitting in this chair, I really want to take a nap. It's so comfortable, so thank you for that. But one thing I noticed about Celebrity is it's a very family fun atmosphere here. What really drives you to create that?
Look, we've been in business here since 1994 through various iterations, and it's always been that neighborhood theater. You know, it's always been that theater to pay attention to the schools in the area and the families, and we've always done just really, really well with family-friendly films out here.
Tell me a little bit more about Celebrity. I know you guys have your huge kids summer camp program. Tell me a little bit about that.
You know, that started way back in 1994, and it's grown bigger and bigger and bigger each year. It's an opportunity for the kids to beat the heat during the summer, but it's also an opportunity for people that maybe don't normally get to come to the theater to get into the theater at a wonderful price. I think we've been doing that deal for $5 a head. I think we might have recently just gone up, but for basically $5, you get a movie, popcorn, and a drink, and you get to enjoy all the things that the theater can offer.
Of course, respect for that, man. Of course, but you did mention popcorn, so I have to ask. Whenever you come to the movie theater, you go to the concession stand, you look up at the screen, there's a bunch of hard choices to make right then and there, right? You haven't even gotten to the movie yet. What is your go-to snack for movies?
Man, have you seen me? I mean, I love them all, you know? So at the end of the day, my recent go-to is this Cheetos popcorn that they have over here. It's fabulous. So I love the Cheetos popcorn. It's a go-to. It takes me about 3 days to get my fingers from orange back to my normal skin color again. But I like that, and I like a little sweet with my salty, so I typically would go with some type of a gummy bear or something like that. And then I top that off with a cherry Coke, man.
Cherry Coke? Yeah, I can't do it. Cherry?
Cherry Coke, man.
Oh, man. Whenever it comes to Coke, I say you just got to go with the classic and go from there, right?
Yeah.
I have to ask you as well, like I said earlier, these seats are very comfortable, but where you sit in the movie theater plays a huge role in your experience in the movie. What are your go-to seats?
I like the middle of the movie theater. I grew up in projection and sound in the business, and a little secret, everything tends to point right to the center of that movie theater. So maybe about 2 rows up, just center stage there.
Big part of Celebrity as well is the huge arcade that you guys have, right? It's a whole lot of fun being in there, and it's a great environment as well. But I have to ask, do you have a high score on any of the arcade games?
I don't. I really don't. I like the carnival games, I like the ticket games, I like the down the clowns and the milk jug toss, the milk toss and all that kind of stuff. So love the skee ball. Is probably my favorite skee ball.
You like
game.
skee ball too?
Love it. It's my
Gladly.
favorite.
I'll bet you $10 I beat you.
I'm gonna take that bet.
That's what I like to hear. There we go. So I'll be $10 richer at the end of this.
Yeah.
All right. It's great to talk to you, man. And I know we want to focus on the movie right here, right? But I have to ask one very, very important question to me about some of your other business ventures, especially when it comes to walk-ons. And this is probably the hardest business question I can ever ask you, man. Have you gotten to meet Drew Brees?
I have gotten to meet Drew Brees.
There we go. That's all I needed to know. All right, so
I got to meet Michael Thomas too.
that's even better. All right, do me a favor, give them both my phone number. I'd love to meet them too.
You got it.
All right, I'll ask you one last question about walk-ons. What is like your favorite food there?
I am my favorite food there is the buffalo chicken wrap. That's my go-to.
There we go.
I love the buffalo chicken wrap over there, and I love the tuna teeny. Just can't get enough of it.
That's awesome. Of course, we're coming here from Celebrity Theaters right here in Baton Rouge. It's just off of George O'Neill Road. All right, I'm with Mr. Shane Morrison, owner of the Morrison Companies. All right, had a wonderful time with you today, and I'm just gonna relax, sit back, and have a lot of fun at this movie theater.
Let me join you there.
And from everybody here at MyScene, have a blessed day.
I think the last movie that I saw there was Inside Out in 2015, which brought grown men to tears. Yeah, I saw. The former Grand Cinema saw a $3 million renovation in 2018 with reclining seats, tray tables, beverage service, and more, while still providing the same service that we've all come to know and love. They also envision a bowling alley and a restaurant to be added, effectively doubling the size of the existing facility. So you definitely want to watch for that. Special thanks to Shane Morrison and the team at Celebrity Theaters for having us. And to learn more or to see showtimes, visit celebritytheaters.com. I'm actually blown away at how much that theater has grown. They've done amazing work over there. Okay, coming up, we gaze into the future via a portal in the shape of an ambulance. Sounds pretty interesting. It's filmmaker David Kadar with Unit 68 when we return. A young boy sees a mysterious ambulance parked in the front of his family home. He goes outside, takes a peek through the back window only to see visions of himself saving lives as an adult, as well as all of the breathtaking drama that follows. That's the premise of Unit 68 by David Kadar, and we caught up with him at his premiere at Celtic Studios to learn more of the motivation behind the film.
So tomorrow's going to be a big day. It's career day at school.
Okay, now we're here with David Kadar, the writer and producer of Unit 68. So David, good evening.
Good evening.
Great turnout tonight.
Yeah, so glad you came out.
Thank you very much. What brought you to wanting to write this?
Yes, well, I tell you what, this story kind of came from a lot of my own personal experiences and everything. So one day, I was in my top floor of my house looking out onto the lawn, and this weird thought came to my mind: what if a mysterious ambulance appeared in my yard one night? How cool would that be? That just came out of nowhere, right?
So it was just out of the blue, just like a little epiphany almost, right?
Exactly. So of course I am a paramedic, so I've been doing this for 30 years. So it's like, and I always think when I'm driving the ambulance, like to look in the little window in the back, what if that was like a time porthole or something? And what if weird stuff would happen if I looked in the back? So I kind of put all these little pieces together. Well, there's probably a cool little story somewhere up in here. So let's see if I can kind of develop the story a little bit. And out of all that became 68.
Oh, wow. So how long did it take you to put this together? What was the collaboration to getting everything together?
So from concept to our premiere tonight was 3 years. That's how long it took to put everything together. So real quick, I'll tell you what the story is about. So Unit 68 basically is about a young boy. His name is Mac, and he does not know what he wants to be when he grows up. So a lot of different career options out there, a lot of things you can do when you grow up, you know, so he just never really knows. So one night, he goes to sleep and he has this encounter with this mysterious ambulance in his front yard. And so he goes down there to see what the ambulance is all about. And when he gets in the ambulance, he has this weird experience where he sees the future version of himself saving his friend's life in his ambulance. And so guess what? Next day is career day at school. And when he goes to career day at school, he sees those friends that he saved their life last night, but they're kids and not adults and everything. So of course, career day, what do you want to be when you grow up, you know? So we'll let you see the film and find out exactly what happens after that.
So can you tell me a little bit about Mac?
Yes.
Where you know, what kind of guy is coming, this is based on Mac, right?
Yes, it is. So Mac is based off of a real character. His name was Mark McBride. We called him Mac as a term of endearment. Unfortunately, about 5 years ago, he didn't show up for work one day, and they went to his house and he had passed away. So I said, you know what, we're going to dedicate this film to Mark McBride, and we're going to name the main character Mac.
I also seen that this was brought to us by Acadian, right? That
Yes.
It was funded by Acadian?
Yes.
How was that process?
Yes, so I wrote the film and everything, and you know, do a storyline, then you do a budget, and you can say, okay, how much is it going to cost to do it, you know? So I came up with the budget, I'm going like, I don't have that kind of money. Where am I going to get the money to shoot this film? Oh, wait a minute, I work for an ambulance service. And they fell in love with the script, and they said, you know what, give David the money he needs to shoot his film.
Oh, another thing too about the cast, how was it picking your cast? Is there a few people that's in your family?
Yes, I do have some people, but guess what? Whenever you do a film, a short film, a feature film, or whatever, and you cast for people, you have people coming out of everywhere wanting to be part of your film. People are dying to be in films.
What do you think the projection might be for this film? Are you wanting what are your thoughts on this? And or your hopes for it?
Yes, you know what? I think that this film is right for a feature film. I think the storyline is good. We need to develop the characters a little bit more and stretch it out to a feature film. The EMS industry right now is booming as far as television goes. We have all these reality shows, Night Watch, and Rescue 911, and I think Unit 68 would be a very, very cool feature film to develop the character of Mark McBride and show what it's like to be an EMT and to help people out and everything.
So here we are again. So thanks you guys very much.
David Jarrow has been a paramedic as long as I've been alive, all while working in media production. He's definitely a man of many talents and a man of passion, and it shows in Unit 68. And as he said, it was a 3-year endeavor with the backing of Acadian Ambulance, which is a huge deal. So special thanks to David Kadar for speaking with us, and you can learn more about the film on IMDb, as well as viewing the full movie on YouTube by searching Unit 68. Next, we take an hour's drive down I-10 to a national landmark housing a local gem, the New Orleans Jazz Museum, inside the Old U.S. Mint. That's next. This is MyScene TV. Welcome back. Well, the New Orleans Mint is a national historic landmark and a local treasure, home to one of the foremost jazz museums in the South. The New Orleans Jazz Museum hosts exhibits honoring some of the biggest names in the genre, including Fats Domino, Dr. John, and of course, Louis Armstrong. This marked my first time in the Mint, speaking with curator and radio host David Cunha as I got an up-close look at some of the artifacts of my hometown.
My name is David Cunha. I'm the music curator for the Louisiana State Museum and the New Orleans Jazz Museum. The New Orleans Jazz Museum is a museum dedicated to all aspects of New Orleans jazz, from the beginning to the current state of affairs for New Orleans jazz. The original museum was in the room opposite us, opposite the hallway, until Katrina. And it never reopened after Katrina, and everything kind of went into storage. We chose this location because, first of all, it's a Louisiana State Museum property. Second of all, this is also where the New Orleans Jazz Museum was when it started. So it was here first, and in order to have continuity, we figured this was the best place to do it. In general, when you come to visit the New Orleans Jazz Museum, you can come right now to see a couple exhibits. We have one on Pete Fountain that I just curated, and we also have one on Louis Armstrong and his relationship with New Orleans, both when he lived here and after he left. That is up for another about a month or so. And after that, we'll have a Women in Jazz exhibit that will open up in August. And we are also working on opening the big exhibit of the entire kind of New Orleans jazz experience. We've had a lot of exhibits in the past. We've had a couple exhibits of photography. Keeping Time was one of kind of the best photographs of the music collection. We also had one called Time Takes Its Toll, where we brought out several instruments played by folks like Sidney Bechet and Kid Ory and Cy Frazier, kind of the instruments that we are looking to get conserved because they're not in the greatest shape. So we called it Time Takes Its Toll because time has taken its toll on these instruments, and we would like to get them back to kind of fighting shape. That is the wax figure of Mr. Pete Fountain. We are right now in the middle of the one-room exhibit on Pete Fountain that we opened up in April of 2017. It has records and photographs and even some bobbleheads that his walking crew, known as the Half Fast Marching Club, say that 10 times fast and you'll see what I'm talking about. Some of the bobbleheads and doubloons from that. And behind me is the wax figure of Pete Fountain that was in the Musée Conti. That was the wax museum on Conti Street that closed about 8 months ago. And we tracked it down in a storage facility in deepest Marrero across the river. And that is actually also one of his clarinets that the wax figure is holding too. So we kind of figure it gives a nice little touch to the exhibit. Obviously, we're partnering with the state. We're partnering also with the Louisiana Endowment for the Humanities on several things. We also partner with the Louisiana Museum Foundation and the Friends of the Cabildo to put on performances and try and raise money. On the third floor, we have the Mint performance venue. We do lots of different things in the performance venue. We have bands, everything from kind of traditional jazz bands to modern jazz bands. We've had some rock and roll and some rhythm and blues. We also do lectures in there and films. For instance, every year right before the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, we do a night of showing old films of the New Orleans Jazz Fest from the late 60s and early 70s. You can make a donation to neworleansjazzmuseum.org. And you can also, call me. I have an email, dcunha@crt.la.gov, if you need more information or if you're interested in donating. My name is David Cunha, and I'm the music curator for the Louisiana State Museum, and this is MyScene TV.
The New Orleans Jazz Museum hosts a jazz collection of instruments played by legendary jazz musicians, as well as historical documents for the state of Louisiana and also a digital library. To learn more about their exhibits, events, and facilities, visit nolajazzmuseum.org and be sure to follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Flickr, the New Orleans Jazz Museum at the Old U.S. Mint. Next, we go downtown for locally sourced food over at Kocha with Angela Francis. That's next. But in the meantime, I encourage you to follow us across our various social media sites. This is MyScene TV. The local food scene has been on point for quite some time, with new additions popping up like wildflowers. One in particular promises locally sourced food paired with international wines in an LA setting. We're speaking of the one and only Cocha on North 6th Street, and our culinary expert, Angela Francis, sat down with owner Enrique Peñarua to learn more about this rustic, endearing establishment.
Hey, MyScene TV. We're downtown Baton Rouge at restaurant and bar Cocha. This is a great place, great atmosphere, real LA vibe. We're here with owner Enrique. Tell us a little bit about what brought you to Baton Rouge.
Well, initially, my wife is from here, from Baton Rouge. We were living in Los Angeles at the time. And we initially met working at a restaurant for Paul Fleming. 3 years ago, we decided that we wanted to change. And Saskia always had in the back of her mind that she wanted to open up a restaurant. So this was a natural progression. We came here, really loved the people, and we found this place. So here we are. And we are doing the whole farm to table organic when we can find organic produce here at the farmers market with our friends. And we're moving with the seasons also. So we want to take our 12 favorite dishes from the 3 menus and pair them up with some global inspired wines.
Who does the pairings?
Well, my wife and Chef Jordan are really the creative minds behind it. So once we have the menu set up, Saskia's gonna come in and find some great pairings from all over the world to give people here something they've never had, hopefully.
Now I'll tell you, what really draws me into your restaurant is the drink menu, the fantastic drink menu. Where does this come from?
So we started interviewing and we found our head bartender and manager, Nick Siracusa.
I'm so excited about trying drinks tonight. That's what really, like I said, drew me in. But also, not only that, but the fare is, your food is so light and fresh. I really enjoyed it for lunch. Tell me how people can get in touch with you.
Well, the best way to get in touch with us is we have the website, so it's www.kochabr.com. We are in Facebook at KochaBR, and then we also are using Instagram at Kocha_BR.
The atmosphere here at Kocha is beautiful. The people here are beautiful. It's a great location. We're open 7 days a week here. Six days a week.
We're the only day that we're closed is on Tuesdays, and a lot of people asked us why Tuesday, and a lot of the restaurants here in downtown are closed on Monday, so we decided to fill that void, and it's been working out really well.
Now tell me how you found the name. I'm very interested in how you came up with the name Kocha.
So one day, having a glass of wine at the porch in our house, I asked her, I said, "Hey Kocha, can you pass me my glass of wine?" And she said, "That's it!" And I go, "What?" And she says, "That's a name." And so that's how Kocha came about. It's an endearing term that in Spanish means honey or deer. So, and it's Saskia, so match made in heaven.
Match made in heaven. Thank you for sharing with us. We're gonna get down to some food and some drinks in a minute. Downtown Kocha, MyScene TV.
They have an amazing food menu, and their drinks should not be slept on either. That was Angela Francis and Enrique Pinarua at Cocha downtown. You can view their menus and also make reservations at their website, KochaBR.com. And happy hour runs from 3 to 6. But now it's time to grab your phones, grab your MacBooks, grab your TVs, because it is social media time. That's right, you can check us out at MySceneTV.com, our social media hub and live stream on Facebook, pictures in and around the Baton Rouge area on Instagram, full episodes and these stories on YouTube. We also have a Twitter and a MySpace floating around somewhere, so you definitely want to check those out. Until next time, as we close out with scenes from Unit 68, I am Javon Hamilton. Got the giggles today. And this is MyScene TV.
My friends have some fun ideas, but I haven't really thought about it.